Hello again. My name is Michael Martin Drain. I am the Assistant Regional Director for the Hoosier Initiative for Reentry Program, which stands for HIRE. I am here on site at the Acorn Grill here in Sullivan, Indiana. It is my pleasure to be speaking today with the owner and operator of the Acorn Grill, Brandon Knoepfle. I can't wait to talk to him. Come on in, let's see what we got going on here. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Michael.
We really appreciate it. Talk to us about being incarcerated and from incarceration to now owning your own restaurant. How did that come about?
It came about by there not being any other opportunities out there for me. I had to create my own business. The opportunity came from an incredible pain, but a story that I made. Having 4 felonies on my record, having violence on my record, having drug charges, drug dealing on my record. Jobs were incredibly hard to come by. I had a lot of restaurant background before, so I went back into the restaurant industry. That was the industry that would accept me and that didn't do the whole background check. I decided, you know what? I'm not going to chase anybody else's dreams. I'm going to chase my own. And that was the moment that everything shifted for me as far as where my career path looks like and what my future looks like.
Where did that dream of owning a restaurant, where was that birthed from? Was that, because I've read before that, you were involved with the Plus program and inside of DLC. Where was that dream birthed from?
The restaurant industry, I just loved it. I adored it. I loved the intensity. I loved the adrenaline with it when the rush happens. I loved the familyness, the tightness of the staff, similar to kind of your clique or your guys in prison or, whatever you hang out with. Interesting, though, is in Plus program, we wrote down our 10-year goals, and I wrote down on there my 10-year goal was owning a restaurant, and I achieved that in 7 years. That's still on. I still have that piece of paper.
Right now, you're the owner of Acorn Grill in Sullivan, Indiana. How was it piecing this together? I know there's a lot of challenges. You've been in what business now for 3 years? Is that correct?
Over 3 years.
Okay,
Yes.
so you've already overcome that 2-year slump, as they always say with restaurant businesses.
Right.
Talk to me about bringing this dream together and actually, this brick and mortar. I mean, you have your own staff. This whole restaurant has its own feel, its own vibe. The food on the menu looks great. I sort of took a sneak peek at that beforehand. Talk to us about how you brought this together.
I went to the bank to seek traditional funding. The bank laughed at me, I had no experience to show on paper for them, again, just like the job thing. And they said, restaurants fail, they're a dime a dozen. I said, yeah, but I'm different. They didn't care. I didn't have any proof that I was different. It was just somebody with a tie on that, looked at me like I was insane. So I took what I had. I got a couple small little loans from family members, little loans. I had a few credit cards, but the credit cards paid for just to keep our house and, keep milk in the fridge. And I had another company that I'd started on my own that was doing pretty well at the time, at least enough to cover some of my finances in this. So I ended up with about $30,000 all in, and I started a full-service restaurant on $30,000. I know that sounds like a lot in some respect, but it really wasn't, and it wasn't as difficult as what you would think it was to come up with that funding if I was creative in thinking, How I did it is Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I bought shut down restaurants. I drove over to Illinois. It's about 4 hours away. Borrowed a pickup and a trailer, and I completely bought out somebody's restaurant over there and moved the whole thing over here. That was the first one. Did had a little bit of help with some family help moving this stuff, but I was most of it. Doing it myself, man, because I was going to make this dream a reality no matter what.
One of the things is, we have the pandemic, of course.
Yep.
How was getting through that as a business? How were you guys able to sort of navigate through that and possibly still navigating through that? Did it impact business? What was the end result for you so far?
I mean, I'm still inmate number 142507. That's with me. That's part of me. And that's okay that's part of me. As long as I don't live that out here, I can't forget that. So saying that, offenders were resilient. when the pandemic hit and all the resilience, the story leading up to this, I was perfectly ready for it. My background, I'm a fighter. That's who we are as offenders or people. That strong people. We actually accelerated everything, and business was up in 2020 as a whole. 25.7%. We do our own delivery service.
Wow.
That was something I always wanted, and so we do that. Then the takeout. Of course, they shut down in-house dining for a while, but we didn't even want to open in-house dining back up. It was too easy doing what we were doing because we weren't used to the easy, So, but we did open in-house dining back up, half capacity. And then they said 75, but we still keep the social distancing, so it's really not half. And we're looking at a really strong 2021.
What advice do you have for individuals, men, women, looking to release? I love asking this question because I want to be sure that people hear and understand from individuals that have gone through it. What advice would you give them?
Don't let yourself get discouraged. I stayed persistent with it. I stayed the path that I knew that I did exactly what they told me to do. Have some self-discipline. You've got to do these programs. You've got to get in a spiritual led program. You've got to get in recovery. And that's exactly what I did. So do that. Do your best to find a job. Even if it's just a part-time gig. There's the gig economy is booming right now. If in my store, I'm looking for 3 individuals at the moment. So there's incredible opportunity. A lot of people aren't doing background checks as much as they used to. That's going away more so. And a lot of that's just because they need, team members or employees. But don't expect to start out at $20 an hour. I started out at 10 an hour. So I worked my 40, I put that in. I got side gigs, bought a lawnmower. I'm doing all this side hustling. I even later, a couple years later, I bought a snow plow truck. We got snow on the road, snow outside. I bought a snow plow truck. I bought a snow blower. Like I'm doing anything I can to get more income in and to keep myself not busy so where I'm distracted, but keep myself productive. Absolutely. Is a better term.
Yeah.
Because you can't get over busy. I see a lot of people, they want to get so busy that they forget to start to keep working on themselves. But you have to work on yourself first. The best advice I got when I was 2 days out, I made it to a recovery meeting 2 days out. I was on house arrest. An older gentleman in recovery that had 8-9 years at the time. I said, dude, I can't make it Thursday. I got to work. I just started this gig. I can't tell him no. He said, your job is to stay sober. And I said, okay, I'm listening. And so I told my boss, I'm like, look, sorry. Like, I want to be here. I'll come in before, I'll come in after. But between 8 and 9, I've got to be at the Catholic Church for the recovery meeting. Wow. And that's where I was every Tuesday and Thursday night, was at that recovery meeting, because that gentleman told me and I listened to him.
With you being someone who was released, now you're a business owner, do you also provide individuals who have had felony convictions a chance to work here at Acorn Grill?
To some degree, I kind of prefer it.
Okay.
Because I'm familiar with them, but we give second, third, fourth, and fifth chances. Our application is specifically designed to find who the person is, because that's all I care about. I don't ask you what your education is. I don't care. That's not going to help me out any, And I definitely don't ask what your background is, because I don't care. I don't care who you was. I care who you are.
You brought up mentors that you had in plus, spiritual mentors as well too. Just with what you have been able to come through and where you are now, talk to us about the power of mentorship. Individuals that you're mentoring now. Talk to us about that.
Learning from those older, wiser, and being humble and listening to them was really important for me. So currently, I have a network of 3 really important mentors, coaches that are just centered around the restaurant industry as business. I have a personal life coach right now. I was able to afford that, which is very expensive, believe it or not. And then I have my recovery mentors that I use. So it's important to me to make sure that I pay that forward, and I'm willing and able to mentor anyone, anywhere that is willing to listen. If I get a young person or even an older person that has the background and I know it, or I hear about it, I find out, or I can usually see it, I'm always asking them the questions. Do you basically, do you want a mentor? But I don't actually say that out loud to them.
Yeah.
I'm always mentoring, and that's just what we become. That's important.
What's next?
Scale on the restaurant. We're looking up into the second quarter of 2021 to open up our second unit, our second restaurant.
Okay.
I am bringing on an amazing, resilient person like myself as my first partner in this. So he gets equity in the company just for showing up to work. That's all he had to do, showing up to work and keep working on himself. Now he's going to be an owner. Like so that again shows you with the opportunity, if you meet the right people, what the opportunities out there. And so I've got a tech company that I've already just started. I've started to launch. So it's really cool. It's restaurant industry specific. It's hardware. It's software. It's really cool. We're targeting small businesses, and the whole idea, small restaurants. The whole idea is to keep the price point really cheap, so it's affordable to a mom and pop down the road, the independent restaurant owner that maybe can't afford these expensive solutions. We have this solution for $5 a month.
Brandon, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know individuals that are sitting here watching this video appreciate it as well. I would love to revisit. Congratulations.
Sure.
Thank you. If you are an area business here in the state of Indiana looking to partner with the Hire program, feel free to reach out to us via email at hire@idoc.in.gov or at the Hire program. You can also check us out as well too at LinkedIn as well. Now it's time for me to eat.